Okay, welcome back, class. Today's topic, we're going to work on section 12.3, which deals with triangles. Now, one thing with triangles, what I'm going to cover is the perimeter, Pythagorean theorem, and using area. And then I'm going to conclude by using angle measures. So I just want you to think for a moment what you know about a triangle. And most of us in here know that triangles have three sides and also three angles. Now, perimeter is adding all three sides together. So let's just take this example, and let's say the perimeter is, say, all of them are in inches. So to find the perimeter, you would just need to add up 3 plus 4 plus 5. And this comes up to be 12. And perimeter will deal with the unit, which is inches. Now, the second part of triangles is understand the Pythagorean theorem. Now, Pythagorean theorem has to have a right triangle, a right angle in it. And if you all can recall, seeing a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now I want to clarify myself. This Pythagorean theorem can only be used on right triangles. So let's take a look at example number 1. Let's say if I give you 3, 4, and I need to find that third side. Okay? Now, technically 3 is going to be A. So I'm going to say 3 squared. My B is going to be 4, and I'm trying to find the C squared. Okay, 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16. Add those together, you get 25 equals C squared. That is not your answer. So then you have to take the square root. So C equals 5. So it depends on what your unit is. It may be like 5 feet, whatever. I mean, it's going to be a single unit. Okay. My next example. Now remember, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So looking at my a is going to be 6, so it's going to be 6 squared. B is going to be 8 squared, and c squared. So then we just square them. 36 plus 64 equals c squared. And we'll continue it over here. Add them up, and c squared equals 100, or the square root of 100 is 10. Now, at any point, like I've said before in my videos, if you need to push pause and then catch back up, or you can always go back and review it again, please feel free to do so. Hey, now what about this one? Now here's a common mistake that I've seen. We say, okay, 5 squared plus 13 squared, and then that is 25 plus 169, which just comes out to be 194, and then take the square root. But remember, it's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The c is the 13, a is the 5, and b is what we're trying to find. So if you want to go back and look at the A, B, and C format, that's what we can do. Now, A and B can be interchangeable. I'm just using this as the, just like a standard form. However, the C is always, the key to the C, it's always across the right angle, right across from it. Okay, so let's finish this. 25 plus B squared equals 169. And then, so instead of adding, we're going to subtract 25. B squared equals 144. Take the square root. B equals 12. Okay. Now, moving on with this, this is key to understanding area. Area of a triangle is just 1/2 base times the height. So in this example right here, the area is going to be 1/2 times 8 times 20. So 8 times 20 equals 160, and half of that is 80. And the unit is going to be, since it's area, it's going to be squared. Now we can apply this plus the Pythagorean theorem in this next example. So say we have this rectangle, but what we know is this right here, it's got a diagonal of 30 feet, and we know that x and x with a right angle. So going back to our Pythagorean theorem, my c squared is 30. Now my a squared and b squared are just your x's. Now, combining the like terms, that means I have 2x squared equals, okay, what is 30 squared? Well, it's 900. 30 times 30 is 900. Divide by 2. You get x squared equals 450. We're almost finished. Then what we need to do is take the square root. So x equals roughly 21.21. Now remember, if it asks you to do rounding or even significant digits, in this case, the significant digits or rounding, I mean, you need to pay close attention. Okay, number 3. Same example, except I've got it oriented differently, but it's still the same setup. So if you want to pause this and come back to it to see if you've got it correctly. So that means I've got a squared plus b squared equals c squared. X squared plus x squared equals 50 squared. 2x squared equals 2500. Divide by 2. You get x squared equals 1250. Take the square root. And x equals 35.36. Now, I could also ask you, what is the area of the triangle for both of these? So I wanted to explain to get in the side first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, area equals 1/2 base times height. Okay, so think about this for a second. If you flip this around, this would look something like this. For the triangle. So your base and your height are the same, and we found that to be 21.21. So all you have to do is take 1/2 of 2121 times 2121. And the area is going to be 224.93. And it's going to be feet squared. Okay, your sides will be feet. Okay, now let's do the example for number 3. The same setup. We do area equals 1/2. Okay, I'm going to do 35.36 times 35.36. So in this case, area is going to be 625.16. Okay, lastly, I give you a triangle that's got the whole base as 20. And it's got this diagonal as 20 as well. And what I'm asking you for, what is the area? Well, you need to find x first. To find x, we need to use that Pythagorean theorem again. Okay, now this time think about this for a second. Maybe we use x for a. Now, since it's splitting it, we're going to say that this right here turns into 10. It's going to be 10 squared equals 20 squared. So then what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, x squared plus 100 equals 400. Subtract 100. X squared equals 300. Take the square root of 300 and x becomes 17.32. Now to find the area of this, I'm going to say area equals 1/2. Now the base is the x that we just found. And I'm multiplying it by 20. Which I find the area to be 173.2. And to finish up the perimeter, if this is 20 and this is 20, then this also has to be 20. So the perimeter is going to be 20 plus 20 plus 20, which gives you 60. So my perimeter is 60. My area is 173.2. And the side, or in this case, the height, would be 17.32. Now, in conclusion, we'll talk about angle measures, okay? One thing with a triangle, that they always measure A plus B plus angle C gives you a total of 180. So if we know in example number, or the example on this one, all you need to do is add them up and subtract it from 180. So this case would be A is 30, B is 50, plus C equals 180. Add these up. Subtract. C is 100 degrees. Okay, so now for my Math 116 class, I want you for homework number 7, do it on WebAssign. Okay, thank you for listening, and be looking out for my next video, which will be covering 12.5. Thank you for listening.